Good afternoon. I'm Mitch Lucas. I'm the Assistant Sheriff of Charleston County, and I'm also lucky enough to be the chairman of the Charleston County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. We're here today to along with 10 other jurisdictions across the United States, to announce that we've been selected to receive a $2.25 million grant from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. This exercise began last May when the Public Safety Justice Challenge was announced by the MacArthur Foundation. We eagerly assembled the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, and although in the newspaper I noticed that the Charleston County logo was used, this is not a function of Charleston County government, to be clear, and I believe Judge Rawls is going to address that. We're just a conduit for the entire effort, because as you can see behind me, this is an effort that has went across all areas of the criminal justice system, up and to include the retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the current Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and all the associates. So what we're building here hopefully is a model that's going to work in a lot of different jurisdictions before it's over with, and make some improvements to this. And we came up with 6 strategies that we're going to go over with you and try to get into the meat of this, and talk about what kind of changes the public can expect and the criminal justice field, our local criminal justice system is looking for. Of course, anytime you do something like this, you have to have community engagement. We called a meeting this morning. It was awfully early, but still some folks came out that worked with us from the different community groups, and to discuss the grant. We've been under sealed envelope about telling anyone about this grant, but we'll continue to reach out with them and continue our community engagement with them, and hope that that number of partners grows in this. It's not that we think that we police wrong now. We believe we can make it better. And one of the things that we're going to do is come up with a decision-making tool that all of the law enforcement officers in Charleston County will be able to use to determine whether to make an arrest, issue a citation, if they need to go to someplace other than jail, like a crisis stabilization center for mental health or for substance abuse. We've also got bond court that will be working along with this, and you'll hear this from Judge Steinberg, and municipal court. And municipal court is an example of other partners being involved with this. The General Sessions Court and the municipal court in Charleston will work on a system that we're going to put in place of notifying people of court dates, because a lot of times the bench warrants are issued simply because someone forgot to come to court, forgot what the date or time was. This has been proven in other jurisdictions to be extremely helpful in limiting the number of bench warrants that are issued. We're also going to be gathering data and comparing apples to apples with, rather than take the entire population of the United States, like demographics based on race and geography and ethnicity, and there's several other things that go with the acronym of REGRA that they'll be able to tell you about, where we understand what kind of progress we've made. Because there are some jurisdictions that are going to have more police incidents occur in their community, and we need to make sure that all of those are being treated fairly and equitably. And I think the first person that I'm supposed to call up here, who is the first person?
That would be Debbie and I.
Oh, well, let me introduce the twins of my vice chairmanship, Debbie Blaylock and Dr. Chandra Brown.
Good afternoon. I'm going to let Debbie go ahead and start, but I just wanted to start out by saying we are extremely excited and grateful to receive this award, and I'm going to let Debbie go ahead and start.
So you might think it's weird that a project that has to deal with the criminal justice world involves folks from mental health and substance abuse, and that's why we're so excited about it, because it involves folks dealing with substance abuse and mental illness. And so we're here, and that's awesome that we're here, because this project isn't only going to deal with folks who are from communities of color or low-income communities. It's also going to deal with folks who are suffering from mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness. And why do we care about that? Because those folks need help, they need resources, they need assistance, And we are putting some things in place into this project to give them the assistance they need and to help the law enforcement officer who encounters these folks lead them to the services they need rather than leading them to detention. Oftentimes, this population, substance abuse, mental illness, and homeless folks, consume up to 62 days on average a year of jail days. And we want to decrease that and get them into the services that will help them stop revolving in and out of the detention center and start living productive lives.
We also know that from our data collection that people with mental health issues and substance use disorders often are the chronic offenders of our jail population. Through the use of the innovative triage center, we hope to reduce the number of bed days consumed by chronic offenders by 10% and those at risk of being chronic offenders by 15%. Our goal is to provide officers on the street an alternative to jailing because our vision is we believe that people with homelessness issues, mental health issues, and substance abuse issues are better served in the community versus being deposited in the jail.
Thank you.
One of the things that we realized early on was bond court was a central part of this issue because it's their first appearance before the criminal justice system with a judge that's going to make a decision about their ability to leave or if they have to stay in jail. So with that, we've asked Chief Magistrate Steinberg to come forward and talk about that.
Thank you very much. Again, I'm going to echo what they said. We are so proud that we have an opportunity to participate in this initiative, and we really are committed to doing better. Mitch just talked about the bond court hearings, and what we know is that at this point, we're looking to institute what's called a risk-based pretrial management system, and this is going to ensure that pretrial release or detention decisions are based on standardized and validated assessments of risk. What this means is that a risk-based pretrial management system, which is a mouthful, it's going to increase the accuracy and equitable treatment of defendants through the use of objective criteria at that initial bond hearing, rather than oftentimes really relying on gut instincts. This is also going to help expedite the indigent screening. It's going to reduce the inappropriate use of financial bonds and improve access to counsel and support public safety. We're always incredibly mindful of maximizing public safety and maximizing court appearance. One of the other issues that we noted is we found through our studies that there are a lot of bench warrants issued. Many bench warrants. In fact, too many bench warrants. We also found through our research that the African Americans arrested on bench warrants 5 times as many as whites. No question, we have to have a more practical and common sense approach to this. As a result of that, we're going to launch an automated court reminder system to reduce the number of bench warrants by 30%. We're going to start this pilot with Charleston City Municipal Court and with General Sessions Court. This is as simple as a text reminder, what we get from our dentist, what we get from our hairdresser. Don't forget your appointment. Don't forget that you have court. That critical. That's it.
And another one of the important cogs, actually two, I'm going to ask both of them come up at the same time because they really did something I thought was close to a miracle. The Solicitor's Office had to be on board with this, as did the Public Defender's Office. And I'm going to ask Solicitor Wilson to come up and talk about what involvement her office is going to have with this, how she expects what the results would be, and Ashley Pennington, the public defender, to talk about how this is going to affect what he expects out of this, and maybe their conversation with Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Thank you. This has been a long time coming. Y'all have heard us talk about this for a while. We're very excited. And as Mitch said, it's not about what was wrong, it's about making what we have better, and we're all committed to that. I think there are a couple of background things that you need to know when reporting this and when thinking about what we've done, and really how brave it was for us to do what we've done. We started looking at this well before many of the high-profile cases that you hear about today. Before Walter Scott was killed, before the victims at Mother Emanuel Church were killed, we began looking into the issues of jail use and how we could reduce the jail population. If you don't remember anything, what I'm asking you to remember is this is not about violent offenders. We know what to do with violent offenders. We know where they belong. We know where to put them. This is about people who are on, who have relatively minor offenses, whose cases aren't extremely complicated, who are involved with drug addiction or mental health issues. Because what we know and what the data shows, not just in South Carolina, but all over the country, is that unfortunately our criminal justice system has become our mental health system. So we have to address that, and that's why we've taken such a holistic approach. What we plan to do on the General Sessions end, and it is a lofty goal, and I think it's very ambitious, but is to reduce our time to disposition by 37%. I am excited about that. I'm challenged by that. And one of the reasons it's so challenging is because, as you may recall, a few years ago, criminal docketing was taken away from solicitors and given to the courts. Unfortunately, with that change that the Langford case brought, funding didn't come. And so with this grant, what we hope to be able to do is to show with proper resources how the courts can manage dockets and how things can move more efficiently, more expeditiously. So with reducing the time to disposition, there's several things that we can do administratively that can help with that, and I'm sure Mr. Pennington will address this more in detail regarding when defendants get lawyers. That has a profound impact on cases, and we can affect that by changing the dates of appearance, by having a judge who is committed and involved. And as Mitch Lucas insinuated, we have sought and received the blessing of the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court as well as the Associate Justices, because we fully expect Chief Justice Paconis to retire, but he secured the involvement and the blessing of his colleagues who are currently on the court so that we can have judicial involvement earlier and for a more consistent term of involvement. In other words, now we have Chief Admin judges who are assigned for 6 months to a year. With the Chief Justice's involvement, he's agreed that we can assign a Chief Admin judge for up to 3 years. That gives judges time to know and to learn about the cases and the caseload, the attorneys involved, you name it. It gives them a better way to manage. It also includes funding for the clerk's office so that they can assist the judge in being the manager, the docket manager. So that's going to be a big deal. Having Chief Justice Paconis as an ex officio member of the CJCC is another indication of their commitment to this, and again showing that with resources we can implement Langford and we can have a court system that runs as it should. Another key thing, again getting into the housekeeping, administrative things that we can do to help expedite the process of cases, is making sure that our databases and that our case information is connected. Right now it's very disjointed between my office and law enforcement as to when discovery comes in, how we get it. With body cameras, that is a huge issue with the data storage and the transfer of that information to my office and then my transfer of that information to the public defender's office or private lawyers. So that having technology to have all of these agencies communicating directly and seamlessly is going to be tremendous. So we're very grateful for that. This is a big day for all of Charleston County. Each agency has donated time, energy, and really put aside ego, put aside concerns for what any results might show. We have all opened our books to strangers from strange lands, to look at them and say, here where we see some red flags, what can we do to address them? How can we help address indigent people who, but for their financial status, would not be in jail? And so the things that you're hearing about are ways that we can help address that, and we're very excited to be a part of it and appreciate all of your interest in it as well.
My name's Ashley Pennington. I'm your public defender for Charleston County. Today is a great day for justice for Charleston County and for South Carolina, and I want to express my gratitude to the MacArthur Foundation for this Safety and Justice Challenge and the opportunity to really help low-income citizens who get arrested in our county and to become a shining light for the rest of the state. It has been a remarkable 18 months where I have to commend all the various elements of the criminal justice system in our community, whether it's law enforcement, the solicitor's office, the county government, the jail, the sheriff. Everybody has pulled together to work hard to be one of 11 jurisdictions in this country that were selected because of their commitment to justice for all in the community. As a public defender, my chief interest is about low-income citizens and how they have been disproportionately affected by the lack of representation at bond court, or where their cases are slower to get started because they lack the resources to hire an attorney or an investigator and to go out and to gather the information, the evidence that they need for an appropriate defense. The MacArthur Foundation challenged us to look at how we're doing business in South Carolina, and there is no court, there is no bond court in South Carolina that at this point provides representation for the poor. In the next year and a half, that's going to change in Charleston, and I hope throughout the rest of the state. What we're going to see is that the grant is funding 3 lawyers, public defender lawyers, who are going to be available to work in the bond courts so that bonds are set as accurately as possible. Previously, the system has worked in a way in which those that had money, sometimes even with bad records, were able to hire bondsmen and get out. And sometimes a small bond has held in disproportionately low-income people on cases that were less serious. That will change. As the judge has previously explained, we're going to be using objective measures to determine risk so that things are equitable across the board. We're going to see more personal recognizance bonds where there's no risk of flight and danger to the community. And I'm delighted that the Public Defender's Office is going to be able to have representatives involved in the intake and screening process here at the beginning, at the arrest phase, where people can begin to get investigation and advocacy on their behalf. I think that's going to level the playing field, and in my view should go a great way toward instilling confidence that in this community at least we're fighting hard to make the system work fairly for everyone.
You know, nothing happens in a government that the government legislative body is not involved in. And we've been really fortunate to have a county council that has supported this effort completely. And I think that we would probably hear the same thing from the municipal councils as well. But I'm going to ask retired Judge Vic Rawl and a member of the County Council, Vice Chairman of the County Council, to come out and speak about it.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you very much. It's a unique experience to be here. I've probably worn as many hats as most of my brethren behind me have even dreamed up during their lifetimes. I apologize, but I'm probably going to read some comments because, quite frankly, most of the effort that has been done by our coordinator, Christy Danford, and she has done a phenomenal job. Christy came to me several years ago about this concept, and frankly, it's phenomenal to watch something occur from beginning to end. This isn't the end, but it's the beginning of the end. Charleston County's selection is due in large part to the commitment of local leaders to implement reforms that will make our local justice system fairer and more effective. It's also due in part to our efforts to reach outside the justice system and to hear from various community groups and leaders about changes that are necessary to it. while Charleston County Sheriff's Office serves as the administrative head, the reforms outlined in the Safety and Justice Challenge are being implemented by Charleston County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, a diverse group of stakeholders and champions, including county council members, the new Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, all of the chiefs of police within the jurisdiction of Charleston County, probation, pardon and parole, summary and circuit court judge leadership, various community leaders, and many more. The collaboration is expected to continue and will continue throughout the process. The county's goal of reducing its jail population by 25% in 3 years, and the plan we've outlined to get us there, is bold because we recognize Charleston is grappling with some of the most difficult and challenging issues of the day in criminal justice reform. The Sheriff's Office, municipal law enforcement, court leadership, circuit solicitor, circuit defender, and others from both inside and outside the local justice system are ready to lead in these bold efforts. We also fully expect and hope that other leaders and individuals from across the county hold us accountable for and even look to play a role in the progress we make. We also will be growing a centralized data warehouse to improve our use of data for continuous improvement and accountability. This is a huge part of the effort. We're proud to be one of the community leading the country in reducing our jail population. And in addition to celebrating this grant, I want to take a moment to thank our community for your continued support in this endeavor. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the criminal justice system includes everybody. It is a long process. This will make it data-driven. This corrects some of the things that I think have been inappropriately done in my career as an attorney since 1973 forward. And quite frankly, it involves the broadest group of stakeholders that I've ever seen put together. The one reason we got this grant is we showed the MacArthur Foundation that Charleston County and the Charleston community were capable of working together for the improvement of everyone. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten it. Plus the fact Christy worked herself to death. Thank you.
We've asked people to hold us accountable, and with these community groups, and we've got two folks that are here that have been very loyal in coming to meetings and helping us determine what we should be making changes to. And Rod and Lydia, I want to ask them to make time. They don't have anything written down like I do. So,
Well, hi. I just want to take, I guess, a note from the governor, in which she says it's a great day in South Carolina, but I also want to say it's a great day in Charleston County. It is clear that this effort will go a long way in improving our community. I have the pleasure of serving as a member of the South Carolina Department of Mental Health as one of its commissioners. And we see the issues associated with the criminal justice system not performing in a manner that they need to perform because they're doing other duty. The efforts that we've seen from a community perspective, both Lydia and I, the fact that we have held hands along this journey to make our community what it should be. As you drive into Charleston, you have a sign there that says an all-American city. Well, some days I question whether or not it's truly an all-American city, but I think this kind of effort today will ensure that we are an all-American city where all citizens can come together and receive justice in an equitable and fair manner. It makes me very, very, very proud as a health professional as well as a citizen to make sure that we're going to be number one when it comes to making sure our community is safe, fair, and provides the kind of services that's necessary for us to be a thriving and outstanding community. Lydia?
As a Latina, as a community grassroots leader, I can tell you this: doors are open for the community to react to this in a positive way. It is not only ego inside the agencies, it is ego in our community. And we must fight that. We must come together. The doors are open for me. It can be open for anybody else. as long as we want to do the right thing for the people, for the community. So remember this day, and remember that this is just a start, but it's a huge start, no doubt about that. So congratulations to everybody, especially the community. Thank you.
Sheriff Cannon, by the way, is in Washington, D.C. right now, dealing with a panel that he's on with the issues of the Apple iPhone and access to records and how law enforcement is going to respond to that. We've made changes already. We've been communicating better than we ever had. But when it gets right down to it, you've got to have a linchpin that everything sort of holds on to, and you got to make that linchpin stronger and stronger. The only employee of the Charleston County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council is Christy Danford. We hired her early in the process, and I wanted her to give her a chance, without giving her any notice, to come up and talk about what it's been like.
I'm Christy Danford, and I could not be more excited and honored to get to work for all of the people you see behind me and many more in the community, because what we are doing is truly important, and hopefully will continue to thrive and grow with stronger community support, better data, more transparency and accountability to help make sure that we really do achieve our 25% reduction goal and we stick to our plan. I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to get to do this work, because it really does take a village. Thank you.
One more thing, then I'll open up for questions. The municipal police departments, Charleston, North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, have all got behind this effort and have looked at it. One of the things that we've changed is we've encouraged officers to look at the entire situation when they pull somebody over, or they end up with a simple possession situation, whether they can cite and release. Before, all of those people were brought to jail. Now the officer has the discretion of giving them a ticket and sending them on their way, just reminding them to come to court, and of course taking the marijuana away from them. But this is a change that I don't know that I ever expected to see in my career, but it's already had a very positive effect on the jail population. And before I open questions, just so you understand why the length of time before you go to court and what bonds are set are, a jail population has two factors: the number of people who are booked in and how long they stay. And we didn't choose to work on either end one at a time. We're both working from both ends. So with the folks back here behind me, and I want to say Chief Driggers is here. Chief Mullen of Charleston is out of town, and Carl Ritchie, the Chief of Mount Pleasant, also couldn't appear here. But their command staff is here because this is very important. I'm trying to contain my glee a little bit of somebody saying, yes, you're going to get over $2 million to work on problems that we've known about for a long time. And some of them we didn't, we discovered.